Eyes a by that built the boat, eyes a by that sails, here eyes a by that sails. Oh, sorry, I forgot about that. Welcome to the Showdown of Little D. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about this boat. Okay, I know it's only a model boat, it's a wooden boat, but I'm still going to talk to you about this boat for two reasons. I bought this for the Ottawa Travel and Vacation Show because I wanted it on my display to demonstrate that we have a maritime presence here along the St. Lawrence River in the area of Quebec where I do my tours. But when I found this particular boat, it was like gold. It was like, I need this. And I got it from the antique shop and I fixed it up a little bit. I built this nice case to put it in so it doesn't get destroyed in the process. But now I can tell you the story. This boat is called Le Canadienne, and it actually was a real boat that sailed up and down the St. Lawrence River and all the way around the Atlantic into the maritime provinces. And it was the armed government schooner Le Canadienne, so it had cannons on it. Okay, there's no cannons on the model, but it had cannons on it. And the idea, it was stopping American fishermen from coming to Canada without permits to enforce the Canadian regulations. But when it started off in 1850, it was a British ship because we were a British colony. Then, it finally, after Confederation, it became a Canadian armed schooner, and sort of before the Canadian Coast Guard took place or were formed. And unfortunately, the ship was shipwrecked in 1877, I believe, off the coast in Nova Scotia. So all we have is this boat, or model boat, or maquette in French. Now, this boat was carved and created by somebody just down the road here many years ago. Now, right along here, there's little pinholes and it says Leclerc. And when you start Googling Leclerc, you find it's Eugène Leclerc. And he was a sailor that it says that he sailed on the Montcalm. So about 1920s, 1930s, the only ship I know called the Montcalm was the SS Montcalm, which was a Canadian Pacific ship. And if that's where he worked on, then he worked on there. And then he worked also in the shipyards doing labor work and doing all sorts of stuff, working with ships. And his father looked after the lighthouse at Pilière de Pierre, the stone pillars lighthouse, which is right near Saint-Jean-Port-Joli. And he had worked there for for a summer at least, that I'm aware of, when his father was sick. So he worked on the lighthouse. And then when he became injured, of course, there's no workman's compensation in those days. When he became injured, he worked in the lighthouse, and then after a number of years, he just lost employment there. I'm not quite sure the reasons. But he moved into the town of Saint-Jean-Port-Joli. And in Saint-Jean-Port-Joli, he started carving these boats and making them. And the story goes that an American who was on holidays drove past his house and then backed up and got out and walked down to the house and said, "Hey, who makes these boats?" And he's like, "I do." "Well, if you make them, tourists will buy them. By the way, can I buy one?" So he sold him one or two boats, I'm not quite sure. But then he started making these as a family business. So his whole family were involved in making these boats. One would work on the sails, one would work on the rigging, the other one would make the hull, the other one would do the staining. Everybody had a part to play, and it was quite an assembly line. So they made this model, Le Canadienne, and they made probably about 5 other models of boats, but they're also different sizes. And I think this is the larger size of Le Canadienne. So we have these. And this boat, I don't know the date that it was made, but anywhere between 1920 and 1930 is when this particular boat, I'm guessing, was made. And then his son took over the business, and now his grandson, Luc Leclerc, has the business in Saint-Jean-Port-Joli. So someday I want to take this boat to him and say, hey, can you confirm any date that this boat would have been made by your grandfather, and if there's any repairs to it, because I did have to put new rigging in some places just to restore it. I'm not touching it otherwise, but we have this now to represent not only the local maritime history, but it is a part of the local history because it was made here by a local resident in Saint-Jean-Port-Joli. And ironically, the Musée Maritime de Québec, Captain Bernier Museum, they have maquettes, models. They have a maquette display within the Maritime Museum. And they have wooden model boats that you can go in there, and it'll be part of my tour. So I'm not sure, I haven't been in there yet, that they might even have a model like this in their display of the Canadienne. But we'll see. Anyways, that's my little tidbit. And if you want to come see it in person, come to the Ottawa Travel and Vacation Show on April 11th and 12th in Ottawa at the Rogers Centre. See you there. Toodaloo.